In Chechnya, Russian troops launch a massive rocket barrage as casualties mount on both sides. France denies claims that it ordered a group known as Spider to kill Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic. And in Nigeria, dozens die in street battles between rival ethnic groups. From CNN in Washington, this is WorldView. I'm Charles Bierbauer. Bernard Shaw and Judy Woodruff are off. First, a developing story in the North Sea. Norwegian officials are reporting 10 dead and 12 people still missing in the sinking of a ferry. The high-speed vessel ran aground and sank near Haugesund off Norway's southwestern coast. A helicopter and several small boats went to the rescue when the distress signal went out. Officials say the ferry sank in less than an hour.
On the ground, there was a hole in the hull, and it was rough weather and waves, so the wind and waves pulled the ferry off the ground and exposed a hole in the hull where the water came in, and it sunk short after.
88 people were aboard when the catamaran-style ferry went down. 66 have been rescued so far. Russian forces in the breakaway Republic of Chechnya have unleashed a punishing artillery attack against the capital of Grozny. This latest assault began Thursday, leaving much of the city ablaze. One Russian general says the shelling will continue for the next several days. CNN's Matthew Chance reports.
A fresh wave of missile attacks unleashed by Russian forces on the Chechen capital. The battle for Grozny is intensifying, but Chechen fighters are reported to be holding their positions despite a heavy bombardment the Russians now say is part of their final push to control all of Chechnya.
The goal of the counter-terrorist attack is to complete the destruction of the rebel forces in their bases, in the hills and mountains of the Chechen Republic, with simultaneously restoring systems of official government and systems of normal life for the population of Chechnya.
Russian forces have made considerable gains in recent weeks and say they are rebuilding towns and villages now under their control. Ordinary Chechens, they say, are free to return to their homes. But at the refugee camps in the neighboring Republic of Ingushetia, Russia's attempts at confidence building have been dealt a serious blow. This woman, pushed from her home by the fighting in Chechnya, was shot dead by drunken Russian troops demanding alcohol. 2 other refugees were injured as the soldiers opened fire. The military says it has arrested those responsible, but it's not the kind of publicity the Kremlin wants. Such news, though, is difficult to hide. This Russian soldier is Vladimir Mozikov, 41 years old, and burned over 40% of his body after a clash with Chechen militants. It takes constant attention just to keep him alive, a tragic casualty from the front line. But although both sides are taking casualties in the conflict, it's the Chechens who appear to be suffering most. They're facing an unprecedented Russian bombardment. Chechen officials say 4,500 people have already been killed, mostly civilians. Russia says Chechnya must surrender its militants or face more Russian bombs. The Kremlin appears increasingly hardline in the pursuit of what it says are Chechen bandits. This may have started off as a limited campaign to seal the borders of a breakaway republic, but it's fast become an all-out battle to bring Chechnya back under Russian control. Matthew Chance, CNN, Moscow.
Russian officials say President Boris Yeltsin will need at least a week to recover from a viral infection and acute bronchitis. The Kremlin says Yeltsin is resting at his country home outside Moscow. Mr. Yeltsin was treated briefly at a hospital after becoming ill Thursday. His spokesman says he is in an energetic mood and is taking a home remedy of hot milk and honey. France is denying any involvement in an alleged attempt to assassinate Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic. CNN's Alessio Vinci joins us on the phone from the Yugoslav capital of Belgrade with the latest. Alessio?
Charles, Yugoslav authorities say they have collected a huge amount of evidence proving that the French Secret Service was behind a plot to assassinate President Slobodan Milosevic. Mr. Goran Matic, the Federal Information Minister, said that most of the evidence about the alleged plot was uncovered during the recent arrest of 4 Yugoslav citizens and 1 Bosnian here in Yugoslavia. Men authorities here say are linked to the French Secret Service. Among the evidence collected by the authorities here is a videotape secretly recorded by Serb agents in which one of the alleged spies talks about his links with the French Secret Service and about contract killings he committed on their behalf, not here in Yugoslavia, but in Africa and Belgium. However, on this edited tape, which Mr. Matic showed reporters at a press conference in Belgrade, the alleged spy does not speak about plotting to kill President Milosevic. But Mr. Matic insists he has evidence of a detailed plot.
They had several ways to execute the assassination attempt, either using a sniper or to place a car bomb. They have considered different possibilities. We found a map which explains how they were planning to execute the action.
A French Foreign Ministry spokesman denies the charges, saying, quote, "We are very surprised by the declaration made by the Yugoslav Information Ministry in Belgrade, implying that the French services would have planned an attempt on President Milosevic's life. Such allegations are completely unfounded." Mr. Matic says that these alleged agents have recently been involved in operations in the former Yugoslavia, especially during the war in Bosnia and lately in Kosovo, where their mission was to recruit new agents for the French Secret Service. What Yugoslav authorities, however, have so far failed to do is to make public a videotape or documents which would directly link the French Secret Service to this alleged plot to assassinate Mr. Milosevic. But officials here say that more evidence is being examined and will be released in a few weeks' time. Charles?
Alicia, what happens to these men now?
Well, officials here say that they have so much evidence to examine that it will take some time to analyze it all. After that, a trial would start in a Belgrade court, a trial that at this point is not clear whether it would be open to the public or behind closed doors. If found guilty, those men could face a maximum sentence of 20 years in jail. Charles?
Alessio Vinci in Belgrade, thanks. In East Timor, the United Nations is promising to investigate evidence of mass slayings at 2 churches during September's militia rampage. An Indonesian human rights group Thursday exhumed 25 bodies, including those of 3 priests, buried in mass graves just over the border in West Timor. CNN's Maria Ressa spoke to us earlier by phone. She had interviewed one priest during her coverage of East Timor's independence vote.
6,000 people who took refuge. When the referendum was held on August 30th, there were an estimated 3,000 people who had fled to that church. Around September, eyewitnesses then told CNN that Father Hilario begged militiamen to spare the lives of the refugees there. Some said his ears and hands were cut off before he was killed.
The UN says Indonesia still has not permitted its investigators access to West Timor. Aid officials are concerned about a new large-scale refugee exodus from Angola, where a civil war has now intensified. The United Nations says about 2,400 Angolans have fled into Namibia in recent weeks, and another 3,700 have crossed into Zambia. The long-running civil war resumed after a UN-brokered peace agreement collapsed last year. Angola's army has recently claimed success against UNITA rebels. UN officials estimate almost 2 million Angolans have been displaced during the quarter-century of conflict. A degree of calm has been restored to the Nigerian city of Lagos following deadly ethnic violence that has killed dozens over the past 2 days. Police have been told to take stern measures to bring an end to the clashes. CNN's Tim Lister reports.
The suburbs of Lagos have become the latest battleground between Nigeria's largest ethnic groups, the Hausa and Yoruba. Corpses were left on the streets, hacked or burned in 2 days of clashes. While police estimate the number of dead at 30, local journalists say they've counted at least 45 bodies. The market used by Hausas in the district of Ikorodu was abandoned in disarray, produce and livestock destroyed. It was one of several that came under attack as people from both sides looted and stole.
We lost almost 1 million naira in this market. All our market, they pack it, go. They wound many of us. Some of them now, they are at hospital.
President Obasanjo has ordered drastic action against the rioters and against members of a hardline Yoruba group, the OPC, alleged to have incited the latest violence.
The police have acted according to the instruction they have been given that any criminal should be shot at sight. But now they have even got additional instruction. Anybody who calls himself OPC should be arrested, or if he doesn't give himself to arrest, he should be shot at sight. We cannot allow this country to be taken over by hoodlums and criminals.
The authorities say the violence in Lagos has now subsided, but this explosion of sectarian animosity is only the latest episode in a string of attacks and reprisals across Nigeria. President Obasanjo is himself a Yoruba, and some Hausa complain that since coming to power, he has favored his kinsmen in making appointments. The greatest challenge now for the president and the security forces is to prevent the rioting in Lagos from touching off retribution in other parts of Nigeria. The situation in the northern city of Kano, scene of Hausa-Yoruba clashes in recent months, is said to be especially tense. Tim Lister, CNN.
Now let's find out what's ahead on the Moneyline News Hour at the bottom of the hour. Here's Stuart Varney with a preview.
Thanks, Charles. If you're looking for a way to avoid the mall crowds, check out Moneyline. We'll explore the bottom line of online phenomenon, e-toys. We'll talk with the head of e-commerce for Land's End. And as e-tailers kick off their holiday ad blitz, we'll look at the odds for success. All that, plus the day's action on Wall Street, including some post-holiday indigestion for the Dow, and yes, of course, another new high for the Nasdaq. So all coming up next on Moneyline. Now back to you, Charles, and WorldView.
And still to come on WorldView, Indian forces step up security patrols in Kashmir as a new wave of violence sweeps that disputed territory.
Hippie the tie-dye bunny, beanie baby, pass the pigs, hairy hairball, Pokemon, or triple threat Spider-Man. Musical, wacky, stick, electronic, drumsticks, rainbow fish, polyester purse, crystal moon lamp, and Neanderthal cranium replica. Amazon.com has all the toys a kid could need, like a Star Wars yo-yo and magnetic whale art.
The U.S. Postal Service, with new automated systems from Lockheed Martin, is speeding the delivery of billions of pieces of mail. And the occasional birthday present from Uncle Will. Interestingly, Lockheed Martin is also building America's next generation of fighter planes, which means we not only help deliver the present, but the future.
A typical day for the IT manager. Everyone wants everything now. Luckily, CDW, your direct solutions provider, can custom configure solutions from 50,000 top name products. Like the complete Hewlett-Packard line, including the color LaserJet. With printing solutions powered by Hewlett-Packard, CDW will never leave you hanging. HP and CDW, the smart call for business.
Until now, there has been a wall between you and the tools of serious trading. That wall is coming down. The information and technology professionals use to trade is now available to everyone. Daytech Online. The rules are changing.
Come with me. Don't be afraid. End of Days is a non-stop thrill ride.
The Dark Angel is loose from its prison!
Heart-pounding.
Stop the lady.
More chilling than The Exorcist. More haunting than The Sixth Sense.
You know who I am.
End of Days rocks. End of Days.
Bear witness to the end of days.
Rated R. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
At BASF, we don't make the snowboard, we make it stronger. We don't make a lot of the products you buy. We make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
In Northern Ireland, Nobel Peace Laureate David Trimble is appealing to his Protestant colleagues for support on a proposal designed to save the Good Friday peace agreement. If the Ulster Unionist leader pulls off a victory in Saturday's party vote, he could attempt to get a new administration appointed for Northern Ireland. About a third of Trimble's party have already declared they will vote no. The plan would drop a long-standing demand that the Irish Republican Army disarm before a cabinet is formed. Violence is nothing new to India's state of Kashmir, but the past 2 days have been particularly deadly. Gun battles between government forces and separatist guerrillas have left at least 32 people dead. Increasingly, civilians are being caught in the middle of the conflict. CNN's Jane Araf reports.
Cameron Ashraf is only 4, so he hasn't been told that his mother and father were killed 2 weeks ago. Relatives say security forces opened fire on Mohammed Ashraf Bazaz and his pregnant wife Samia as they drove past this spot in a rickshaw on a holiday evening. Indian security says they were caught in a crossfire with militants, but the shattered family has no doubt who to blame.
This is the democracy of India. Whenever there is Diwali festival and they are killing the Kashmiri people, whenever there be any festival and they are killing us. It was my uncle's turn, and I don't know when will be my turn.
Kashmir, legendary for its beauty, has been split between India and Pakistan since 1947. India accuses Pakistan of arming and training most of the militants. Pakistan says it gives only moral support. Since a separatist uprising began 10 years ago, India has poured hundreds of thousands of troops into the disputed territory. But attacks by separatist militants have lately taken a new turn, becoming more daring and more deadly.
The militants have suffered a lot of casualties and are under pressure. And to release that pressure, they would attempt, and they have attempted, a number of sensational acts. Those could be expected to continue.
In the most brazen attack, 3 militants broke into the army headquarters by scaling this wall. They killed almost the entire public relations staff in this office. Indian security forces have responded to the attacks with aggressive security checks and crackdowns that have ordinary Kashmiris caught in the middle. With bombs exploding almost daily in the capital, even drinking tea in a cafe is taking a risk. Kashmiris say the world has forgotten them.
Nothing is peaceful. It's wrong to tell Kashmir is peaceful. Kashmir is burning, but who cares?
On a holiday morning recently, a bomb rigged to this motor scooter exploded outside the headquarters of the local pro-Indian ruling party. This, too, was supposed to be a high-security area. Many Kashmiris see themselves as pawns in one of the longest-running political games in the world. Life hasn't been normal here since the valley erupted in violence almost 10 years ago. But now it seems to be getting even worse. India says it's winning the fight against the militants. But trapped between rebels and the security forces, ordinary Kashmiris seem to be feeling the pain. Jane Araf, CNN, Srinagar, India.
Germany's parliament has passed spending cuts to its social welfare system after 4 days of heated debate. The vote was a victory for Chancellor Gerhard Schröder after months of budget fights with his party's traditional leftists. Schröder says his goal is to balance the budget by the year 2006. Coming up on WorldView, can bowling be good for business?
Tylenol House Call. Information for healthy living.
It's like a drum.
Like a hammer. I snap at everybody.
My kids know to stay away.
It's one of our most common medical conditions, a headache. What triggers a headache? Too much caffeine, too little sleep, stress or anger, even changes in the weather. The next time you get a headache, here's some simple things that might help. Try applying heat or cold to the area, massaging the neck to relax the muscles, or simply taking a walk or nap. If you're one of the millions of people who rely on over-the-counter medicines, you should know that the pain reliever doctors recommend most is Tylenol. In fact, physicians recommend Tylenol more than all other brands combined.
When my headache goes away, I'm me again.
By the way, keeping a headache diary can help you determine if food, weather, or mood contributes to your headache pattern. For more information about headaches, visit Tylenol.com.
Tylenol House Call is brought to you by Extra Strength Tylenol.
Can we experience exhilaration more completely when we feel secure? The 225 horsepower TL with front and side airbags and 5-speed sequential sport shift from Acura.
At Oldie, we see every client as unique. Take Jackson Drake, architect and former customer of a full-cost broker. Jackson switched to Oldie for our Premium Plus Money Market Series to receive its competitive yield as well as free check writing. Plus, Oldie's advice helped him design a carefully balanced portfolio. Best of all, Oldie's advice comes with dramatic commission savings over full-cost firms. Spend your time focused on life. Call Oldie, America's full-service discount broker.
You invest, right? Okay, keep your eye on this website. It's time you had something like this. Investment possibilities waiting to be discovered. Every click, another company. Complete with all financials, analysts' reports, earnings history, the works. All on one website. The Discovery Companies at AmericanStocks.com. The American Stock Exchange. Discover the possibilities.
The high roads of the future.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
This is a very big moment. It's not just a new century which is dawning. It is a whole 1,000 years that are ending and a new 1,000-year era beginning. Therefore, how do you approach it? You approach it with humility. And you approach it with reverence, reverence for mankind.
This has been a millennium of great progress, technological developments, scientific developments, economic developments, but it's characterized by too many wars, too many conflicts.
I'm afraid this century, which is just ending, thank goodness, will be regarded as one of the blackest in human history. But there are some redeeming features, and one of them is thanks to television. We now know about the atrocities that are happening everywhere. In the past, terrible things happened, nobody knew, so therefore nobody cared.
So my hope for the future, that is for the next millennium, will be that in whatever we achieve, there must be greater peace on earth and a greater friendship between countries.
If everybody could live, even nations, by the golden rule, we would be a better world, a better universe, if we did unto others as we would have them do unto us.
This Voices of the Millennium has been brought to you by United Airlines. Rising is a daily commitment to make flying more civilized. United is rising.
United is setting the standard for others to follow. Rising is leading.
Coming up on WorldView, the world's largest democracy discovers an old pastime.
Last year, I went to my sister's house for the holidays. It was great to be around the kids. Delicious meal. I had a wonderful time. Well, this holiday, I'm going to send them something from 1-800-Flowers.com because I can't make it this year. And I'm looking for some ideas, like a great centerpiece with a candle. And once you look around, you'll see how easy it is to find the right gift. I'm disappointed I can't be there, but this definitely makes up for it.
Hi, I'm Jim McCann from 1-800-Flowers.com. Visit us online or call us at 1-800-Flowers today.
Carlo, where are you? The meeting started.
The
world doesn't stop for the flu, but you do. Did you know there's something you can do for the coughing, fever, chills, the body aches that can make you miserable for weeks? Your doctor can prescribe a pill that attacks the flu virus itself, not just the symptoms.
Oh, doctor.
As soon as flu symptoms start, call your doctor for information about prescription pills with the power to beat the flu faster, so you can feel better faster. And now that the flu season is hit, if you feel fluish, see your doctor early. And to learn to recognize flu symptoms, send for this free brochure. Discover how prescription pills fight the flu virus so you feel better faster. Call today and learn more about prescription pills with the power to beat the flu faster.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Bell Atlantic, your guide through the wiles of communications.
Tonight in the Crossfire, Robert Reich left the Clinton cabinet and now he's joined Al Gore's rival. Why is he standing by Bill Bradley? 7:30 Eastern on CNN.
The holiday! A time for big feasts, big presents, big parties! And most of all, huge savings on at home. The biggest internet experience around. Enjoy lightning speed and get more done online. Save big with this holiday deal.
Call 244-6222 today for this incredible holiday savings of free installation and your first month free.
Get in the spirit of the season and go big! Think big. Think fast.
In communities all across Tennessee, there's change in the air. Healthcare has changed, and so have we. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Today, bringing Tennesseans access to more doctors and hospitals. Today, bringing extra health care protection to Tennesseans at any stage in their lives. Hope, health, security. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
Join Emmy Award-winning Larry King, live only on CNN.
Finally, it's not always easy to find a way to mix business with pleasure, but as CNN's Anish Trivedi reports, some businessmen in India have done just that by rediscovering a simple pastime.
In a world tuning into virtual reality, Indians are discovering a sport that goes back to the basics: bowling. Recent changes in tariffs have made the import of bowling equipment easier, and a number of facilities have opened in the country's largest cities. But unlike their counterparts in some other parts of the world, these bowling alleys are finding their customers aren't just kids, they're corporate executives.
The working man does his exercise after work, or looks at different ways to de-stress after work. Often there just might be a drink at the next pub.
Not everyone's there to relieve tension built up at the office. Some people find they can carry their work with them.
Closed out more corporate deals in our company over the last 3 months here than we've done before. Now this might be due to the market, this might be due to the bowling. I think the fact of the matter is people let their hair down and it's a lot of fun.
Sometimes it's more than just fun. A number of bowling leagues have started, with companies forming teams that are in it for victory.
We're all little boys at heart. And we're also competitive about sports, and that carries on. It is true that everybody here takes the league very seriously, but at the same time, they have a great time doing it.
Not everyone agrees. Some businessmen still think it's a place to go with the family, not with friends.
I think it's driven largely by kids. I don't see adults driving the bowling craze so much, at least in Delhi.
While no one's giving up the more traditional corporate sports, in India's financial capital, the pace of business life is making it difficult to take time off for more leisurely pursuits.
This was meant to be sort of the poor man's golf, if you know what I mean. But the fact of the matter is that unlike golf, this requires no setup time, no capital cost.
Time that could be spent on the trading floor instead. But at the end of the working day, Indian executives are finding they can take their battles from the boardroom to the bowling alley. It may not always be as competitive, but it's certainly more satisfying. Anish Trivedi for CNN Financial News, Mumbai.
And thanks for joining us on WorldView. I'm Charles Bierbauer. The Moneyline News Hour is next.
Tonight, kids descend on the big board, but the real festivities were at the NASDAQ, which cruised through yet another record. They're off, the annual shopping free-for-all. This year, a battle of bricks versus clicks. Will you spend your holiday dollars at the mall or on the web? One weapon in that battle,